Rain hammered against the streets of Chicago as Haley Jack hurried out of the diner where she worked late-night shifts. Her shoes splashed through puddles while she clutched her thin jacket tighter around her body. Her phone buzzed. "Mom's medicine is almost finished," Ethan texted. Haley sighed heavily. Another bill, another problem, another night pretending she wasn't drowning. She crossed the empty street quickly, unaware of the black SUVs parked silently nearby. Inside one of them sat Dean Stanford. Sharp jaw, dark suit, cold eyes, a king surrounded by killers. Dean stared through the tinted window at the hotel across the street. Tonight was supposed to be simple. Kidnap Vincent Moretti's daughter. Use her as leverage. Destroy the man who ruined his life. Everything had been planned perfectly, until Haley accidentally stepped into the wrong alley. One of Dean's men grabbed her. She screamed. The men froze. "Boss, this isn't Moretti's daughter." Dean stepped out slowly. Rain soaked his expensive coat as he stared at the terrified woman struggling in his men's arms. For a moment, time slowed. Big brown eyes, shaking lips. Fear. Pure, innocent fear. Dean should have ordered them to release her. Instead, he said the words that changed both their lives forever. "Take her." Haley woke up inside a luxurious bedroom. Massive windows, golden chandeliers, silk sheets, and locked doors. Panic crashed into her instantly. She ran to the door and pounded desperately. "Let me out." The door opened slowly. Dean Stanford walked inside. His presence alone filled the room with danger.
Who are you?
You are safe here.
You kidnapped me!
You were taken by mistake.
Then let me go!
Dean's jaw tightened slightly. He knew he should have, but something stopped him.
You'll stay here temporarily.
You're insane!
No, I'm much worse.
Over the next few days, Haley learned exactly who Dean Stanford was. People feared him. Governments watched him. Enemies disappeared because of him. The mansion itself felt like a fortress guarded by armed men. But the strangest thing wasn't Dean's cruelty. It was his restraint. He never touched her, never threatened her, never raised his voice. Still, there was darkness inside him. Haley saw it in his eyes, especially at night. One evening, she found him standing alone on the balcony overlooking the city.
You can't sleep either?
Sleep is dangerous.
That makes no sense.
It does when your enemies want you dead.
Silence lingered between them. Then Dean finally spoke again.
You're not afraid of me anymore.
I think you want people to fear you.
You have no idea what I am.
Then tell me.
For the first time in years, Dean Stanford had no answer. Dean Stanford had survived assassination attempts, gang wars, betrayals, and bloodshed. Yet somehow, a single woman was disturbing his peace more than any enemy ever had. It was nearly 3 in the morning. The mansion was silent. Most of the guards were asleep. But Dean sat alone in his office overlooking the city skyline. Files lay open across his desk. Reports, financial records, weapons shipments, intelligence updates. Normally, he could read every page without distraction. Tonight, he had read the same paragraph 6 times. A knock interrupted the silence. Marco DeLuca entered, Dean's most trusted lieutenant, the only man brave enough to speak honestly to him. Marco placed another folder on the desk. Dean barely looked at it. Marco noticed immediately. Something was different. Dean Stanford never ignored business. Ever.
You haven't signed the shipment approvals. Later.
Later?
Do you have something to say? You're distracted.
Dean stood and walked toward the window. His jaw tightened. He already knew what Marco was thinking, and he hated it.
It's the girl, isn't it?
Marco asked. Silence. Dean's silence was answer enough. Marco almost laughed. Not because it was funny, because it was unbelievable. The most feared man in Chicago was losing sleep over a waitress.
This is dangerous, Dean. I know. Then let her go.
Dean didn't answer, because for the first time in years, he didn't know if he could. The following afternoon, Haley wandered through the mansion gardens. It was one of the few places she felt almost free. Flowers lined the pathways. Fountains sparkled beneath the sunlight. Birds chirped peacefully. It felt completely disconnected from the violence surrounding Dean's world. She sat on a stone bench and closed her eyes. For a brief moment, she forgot she was technically a prisoner. Hidden beyond the garden walls, a sniper watched. Through his scope, his target wasn't Haley. His target was Dean Stanford. The assassin waited patiently, finger resting on the trigger, watching, waiting, searching for the perfect shot. Dean stepped outside moments later. Something felt wrong. Years of surviving the criminal underworld had sharpened his instincts. He scanned the area, the rooftops, the trees, the walls. Then he saw it. A brief flash of sunlight reflecting from metal. A rifle scope. The shot rang out. Time slowed. Haley never saw it coming. She was still sitting on the bench, completely exposed. Dean reacted instantly, without thinking, without hesitation. He threw himself toward her. The bullet struck the stone bench behind them. Haley screamed as Dean pulled her to the ground. His arms wrapped protectively around her, his body shielding hers. For several seconds, neither moved. Guards rushed everywhere, weapons drawn, searching for the shooter. But Haley barely noticed. Her eyes remained fixed on Dean. His heartbeat thundered against her cheek. His arms still surrounded her. He looked genuinely terrified. Not for himself, for her. And that realization shook her. Because monsters weren't supposed to care. That night, Dean sat alone again. This time there was no whiskey, no paperwork, no distractions. Only one thought. Haley Jack. Every day she remained near him. She became a greater target. His enemies would use her, torture her, kill her, simply because she mattered to him. And that was a problem. She mattered. Dean summoned Marco shortly after midnight. Marco arrived expecting war plans. Instead, Dean gave an order he never expected to hear.
Prepare transportation.
For who?
Haley,
You're finally letting her go?
tomorrow morning.
Is this what you want?
No. But it's what's best for her.
Upstairs, completely unaware of Dean's decision, Haley stood at her bedroom window, looking at the city lights, thinking about him, thinking about the man she was supposed to hate, the man she feared, the man she didn't fully understand, and somehow, the man she was beginning to care about. Neither of them knew it yet. By the time the sun rose, everything would change. Morning arrived beneath dark clouds. The mansion seemed unusually quiet. Too quiet. Dean Stanford stood alone on the balcony outside his office. His hands rested against the cold stone railing. Below him, guards patrolled the grounds. Everything appeared normal, yet something felt wrong. For years, Dean had survived because he listened to his instincts. And right now, every instinct he possessed was screaming at him. Danger was coming. He just didn't know from where. Behind him, the office door opened. Marco entered carrying several reports.
The car is ready.
Good.
You can still change your mind.
Dean's jaw tightened.
No.
His eyes revealed something Marco had never seen before. Fear. Not fear for himself. Fear of losing someone else. Upstairs, Haley sat on the edge of her bed. An empty suitcase lay open before her. She should have been happy. She was finally going home. Back to her mother. Back to Ethan. Back to normal life. So why did her chest hurt? Why did every item she packed feel heavier than the last? She folded her clothes carefully, then stopped. Her gaze drifted toward the window, toward the gardens below, toward the world Dean Stanford had forced her into, a world she should hate, a man she should fear. Yet all she could think about was how much she would miss him. The realization frightened her, because somewhere along the way, the monster had become human. Later that afternoon, Haley found Dean in the mansion library. Sunlight streamed through tall windows. Dust floated through the air.
Marco said I'm leaving.
Yes.
That's it?
What else should I say?
I don't know.
Haley swallowed hard. I don't know. Dean's expression darkened, because there were 1,000 things he wanted to say. Stay. Don't leave. I need you. But men like Dean Stanford didn't survive by following their hearts. They survived by burying them. Before Haley could leave, everything exploded. Gunshots shattered the mansion windows. Men screamed downstairs. The Moretti family had found them. Dean immediately grabbed Haley and pulled her behind him.
Stay close to me.
Fear consumed her as bullets tore through walls.
Dean.
Don't let go of my hand.
It was the first time she heard panic in his voice. Real panic. Not for himself. For her. The mansion became a battlefield. Dean killed without hesitation. Cold. Precise. Deadly. Haley saw the monster the world feared. But she also saw something else. Every second, Dean checked if she was safe. Every second. Even while bleeding from a gunshot wound. Finally, they escaped through an underground tunnel beneath the mansion. Haley stared at the blood soaking his shirt.
You're hurt.
It's nothing.
It's not nothing!
You're alive. That's all that matters.
Hours later, they emerged from the tunnel far beyond the city. The mansion burned behind them. Smoke rose into the night sky. Dean stared silently at the destruction. Years of power, years of wealth, years of control. Gone. Yet none of it mattered, because Haley stood beside him. Alive, safe, and somehow that felt more important than everything he had lost. But the war wasn't over. Not even close. Because somewhere in the darkness, Vincent Moretti was preparing his next move. And this time, he wasn't coming for Dean's empire. He was coming for Haley.